Well, the Spring Carnival really moves into top gear this weekend with the running of the Caulfield Cup. Trainer Lee Friedman right in the box seat with highly rated fancies, Marble Halls and Always Aloof. Tonight we look at the form of the main contenders going into the big race.
It's Caulfield's Day of Days here tomorrow when the cream of Australian racing fights it out for this coveted trophy, none other than the Caulfield Cup. And hoping to hold this famous cup aloft for the 4th time is Lee Friedman.
But I think, you know, all our horses are pretty fit. Most of them drawn pretty well, so just keep our fingers crossed now.
Pretty confident going into the race. I know I've got a good enough horse to win the race. Probably the most confident going into the race I would have been on Paris Lane. But big races like this, you can't be too confident going into them. You've just got to, first of all, know you're on a horse that's good enough to win the race, and then you've just got to hope things go right for you, because in big races like this, you've got 18 runners in them, and luck does play a big part in it.
Remus, you know, he hasn't been in a race that has suited him all year, really, except first up when it was the slashing run here when he ran 3rd, and that's the only race he's been in that there's been any pace on, because as we know, weight for age races in our country basically don't have any pace, and it hasn't suited him all along, but Lee's very happy with his preparation. I've never seen him look so well, and it'll be a different story in a handicap, but obviously if it rained tonight and tomorrow, that would, you know, he'd probably, if the track got rain affected, it'd bring him into probably 3rd or 4th favourite.
He's a lovely horse to look after and very professional. I mean, we've had a handful of these English horses come out here, and they're always beautifully educated, and they don't do too much wrong, and, you know, I'm very happy with him. Mares that have had classic placings as 3-year-olds usually run pretty well in Caulfield Cups. Barrier's probably a bit of a problem with her. She can pull a bit, so the boy's going to have to get her over and get her settled a bit. But I think she had similar form to Arctic Scent going into the race. The only difference is I think Arctic Scent drew somewhere between 1 and 4 last year, and this mare's out and will start from 18. So that's a bit of a problem, but she's pretty honest, and the only time she's run at 2,400 and beyond, she's been placed in.
And I think the blinkers will just help him sort. It's just something different with him. It's just a change for him. It's the same as the change of rider. I mean, I think the change of rider, if anything is going to help him find a length, which is what he needs, it'll be those 2 little tricks.
I think he's going sensational, you know. But sad day will tell.
I actually waited the Caulfield Cup 52 and a half. I thought that in the mile races he's been getting the worst of the weights, and he did run in the Derby as a 3-year-old, and this wasn't quite up to at that stage. But he's done very well since he's been gelded, and we'll just give him a chance and see what happens.
I think that he's really a huge chance in the race tomorrow. I couldn't be more pleased with him. It's interesting, the form out of the Epsom over the years. It's very strong. And it's interesting also that Greg, who was here just a second ago, rode the horse for 3rd last year. He was a much more immature horse. He's a very mature horse. Worked superbly here yesterday, handled the track with his eyes shut. He'll be really a force to be reckoned with tomorrow.
Lee Friedman may be fielding the 2 early favourites, but there is also a strong Sydney contingent contesting tomorrow's $1 million Caulfield Cup, including Ebony Grove, who of course we last saw race here at Randwick on that controversial long weekend.
Shot away. What the heck's wrong with Ebony Grove? He's struggling at the tail of the field, the Metropolitan favourite.
Yeah, well, hopefully the controversial stuff's out the way, and we can concentrate on the big races. From all reports, he's settled in well in Melbourne, and his work's been very good. We got a blood report on him the other day, which was excellent, and he's drawn 10 in the race, which was absolutely ideal.
You're aboard Magic of Sydney, who ran a very strong second last start to Yippee-Oh-Oh, who's of course now out.
Yeah, he's just showed a glimpse of coming back to form, because He did have big raps on him this preparation. He sort of failed to live up to those raps. Running a good second the other day. He may just be coming back into form at the right time.
But it's all yippee-yi-yo as the big bloke strides away and he bolts home with the Craven plate. In second place, Magic of Sydney.
Iron Horse, bidding to become the first horse to win the Epsom Caulfield Cup double in a year. Can he do it?
Yeah, I think he can. He's come back a lot better this preparation, and you know, he's had a good preparation and lead up to the Caulfield Cup, and I'm very confident about his chances. He's drawn reasonably well in 8 and in 9, I'm sorry. And he comes in the race with a good chance. I'm also riding Regal Centre in the Scalacci Stakes, and he's coming off a good second here behind Hot as Hell in the shorts at Randwick, so he goes into the race with a great chance and hopefully he can win.
Try to Vic in the Scalacci.
Yeah, he's facing a pretty tough opposition here in the Scalacci Stakes, but he's down in the weights, and he's a good lightweight chance, I think.
Larry, you're also climbing aboard the big horse again, Holy Roller in the Table Right Stakes.
Yeah, he didn't go a bad race in the Epsom either. It's only 1400, which probably won't really suit him, but I'm sure he'll run very well.
If he settles better, he'll run the 2400 metres right out and prove hard to beat at good odds. The obvious danger are the favourite, Marble Halls and Always Aloof, who looks more a Melbourne Cup horse to me, but Might and Power for me.
Alpha is starting to charge late with Might and Power. Armadale is walking. Might and Power's grabbed him with Alpha. I think Might and Power got up.
OK, do you have the pens, pencils and paper poised? Time for Mark Reed's tips. I'll do them for you nice and slowly. We're all a bit slow this time of the night. In the Caulfield Cup tomorrow, Mark likes the Lee Friedman-trained Marble Halls, race 7, number 11. In Sydney, he suggests you put the money on race 5, number 1, Timeless Wins. That's number 1 in the 5th. To Brizzy, the tip is The Scoundrel. That's in race 6, number 9. In Adelaide, he likes race 6, number 2, Royal Line, number 2 in the 6th. And finally, in Perth, the good thing is in race 7, number 1, Summer Bow. There's more racing on the way, including Shane Dye facing the music yet again. And we catch up with one of the leading hoops in tomorrow's Caulfield Cup.
Breeze and an estimated temperature of around about 16 degrees. The track is expected to be pretty good. How did that sound?
Very good. The Isobar boys will be very worried about you, I think. Mate, you really could say Lee Friedman has a mortgage on the race, doesn't he, with 4 runners, including the first and second favourites?
Oh, no question about that. Marble Halls and Always Aloof. Look, Always Aloof, there's a very strong tip around here in Melbourne for the import, and he's had some outstanding form over the last couple of months. Danny Nikolic will be riding Always Aloof. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm really pleased to be riding the horse because I think he's going to be very hard to beat in the race.
You're looking very relaxed, mate.
Yeah, well, you've got to keep your composure. It's not something I'm going to worry about. I know I'm on a horse that can win the race. It's a very easy horse to ride. He makes jockeys look good, so I think the horse will do the job.
Mate, just run us through the Underwood Stakes, the last couple of 100 metres.
Yeah, well, he virtually sat behind the leader the whole way like a track gallop. He put 2 lengths on him on straightening, and he held him off. It was a real bulldog effort, but I'm hoping he can do the same thing tomorrow.
Got a pretty good weight too.
He's in with a very competitive weight. He's 6 kilos underweight for age, and I think the horse will be very hard to beat tomorrow.
Who's your tip, perhaps, as the danger?
I think Marble Halls will be very hard to beat, only for the simple fact he'll probably track me wherever I go, and he'll be coming at me pretty hard. And I also think Ebony Grove could improve a lot.
Good luck, Danny.
Thanks very much, mate.
OK, Tim, that's Danny Nikolic riding Always Aloof in the Caulfield Cup tomorrow, mate. If he wins, this is Danny I'm talking about, he will earn $50,000. Not bad for a day's work.
Not bad, and just one race too. We've come to expect the unexpected from Shane Dye. Today the tables turned when the controversial jockey fronted the recently formed Thoroughbred Racing Board.
Shane Dye in trouble again for speaking his mind.
What do you want me to say? A free right of speech can only improve the country and the industry.
But Dye had spoken out about the head of his industry in New South Wales, or more specifically about the makeup of its appeals panel. Dye lost an appeal last week he believes he should have won and wrote as much, adding ex-jockeys and their expert knowledge should be included on the panel. The Thoroughbred Racing Board wanted an explanation. Dye again facing suspension, fine or warning.
I got no idea. That's up to them.
But in this particular Shane Dye incident, the controversy ended with the column. When the jockey entered the TRB boardroom, he found himself not so much involved in an inquiry or a hearing, but rather a civil and constructive 40-minute chat.
They just told me to be careful. I was very impressed by them. I think racing's really turning in New South Wales, and I think everyone's getting more of a say. I want to see a jockey on the appeals board, and they're looking at it, and one day we may have it.
One thing his first column definitely achieved, publicity.
I certainly made an impact, didn't I? I didn't even try and set out to.
Sure.
Well, I didn't. I just tried to give what I thought was good advice.
He'll also have some advice for Greg Childs, the jockey aboard the horse Di would have ridden in tomorrow's Caulfield Cup, Ebony Grove.
Give him a good trot before the race, warm him up, jump him where he is. He should be running 3/4 of the way back, and you'll know at the 600 whether you're going to win, and he doesn't have to be hit a lot.
And we're almost done here on Sports Tonight, but Friday is always a chance to look back at those plays of the week. Kind. Shane Dye and 3-year-old Encounter take the Caulfield Guineas and $500,000.
Now Encounter in the clear is coming at him. Encounter hits the front. Encounter.
Good thing he's running away to join the church and not the circus, because Darren Beedman would never have cut it as an acrobat.
Can Racing's FBI outgun the rest in the $1 million Caulfield Cup? Today on Wide World of Sports, the Friedman Brothers Incorporated saddle up their best stayers in an all-out quest to win the Group 1 Classic. The stable holds 4 races in Marble Halls, Always Aloof, Dual Caulfield and Melbourne Cup winner Doremus, and lightweight chance Dorobe. But there's a herd of challengers led by the likes of Ebony Grove, Might and Power, and Catlin Opening, all at their peak for one of the biggest clashes of the spring. Included in our Caulfield coverage, the Group 3 Scalacci Stakes, plus one of the best guides to the Victorian Derby, the Norman Robinson Stakes, featuring those flashy 3-year-olds. We'll catch up with Cups King Bart Cummings, take a special look at a syndicate that allows ordinary punters to join the champagne set, and review the rich history of the Caulfield Cup. Plus, we'll also be taking the reins at Royal Randwick for the running of the Tattersalls Cup and the Tattersalls Lightning Handicap. Yep, riding a winning streak on their Super Spring Carnival edition, right here on your Commonwealth Games Network, home of the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Hello and welcome to Melbourne on one of the great racing days of the year and our comprehensive coverage of the 120th Caulfield Cup. Forecast is for top temperature around 16 degrees with a few showers. Unfortunately though, Ken Sutcliffe is a late scratching. Preliminary swabs have revealed certain irregularities, let's say. Okay, it's an afternoon of turf action guaranteed to quicken the pulse of any racing fan, not the least Simon O'Donnell and Ken Callander. Good afternoon, gentlemen. What are our expectations?
Yeah, thanks very much, Max. Well, there's big expectations. First of all, the good news is that the weather's cleared. It's a beaut day here in Melbourne now, and the even better news is that Simon and I are going to go home with a lot of money in our kit.
Look, seriously, we'll get Armaguard here a little bit later on to take us home. We'll have that much. I think we've got that many winners. 7 races from here at Caulfield, couple from Sydney. It's just going to be a cracker day.
Yeah, the rail's out 6 metres, which I think is a good move if it gives us a better track.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's been plenty of racing here in the last couple of weeks, and I think we're going to get just an excellent track. The surface looks fantastic, and of course we've turned the weather on for you down south, down here in Melbourne, Kenny, and gee, I hope we win a quid.
Yeah, the Caulfield Cup, it's one of the time-honoured races. We all grew up talking about the 2 big cups, the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup, and today, well, this is it, the Caulfield Cup of 1997. Can Lee Friedman train his 4th Caulfield Cup winner? Can Damien Oliver ride his 4th Caulfield Cup winner?
Yeah, that's the big question. They've got a good hand in it, so I think they've got a great opportunity of doing all right, Ken.
Okay, well, that's about the scene from here, Simon. I don't think there's much more we can add.
Thanks very much, boys. It is going to be a great afternoon, and while Australia's top stables were bedding down their thoroughbreds for the night, elsewhere in the world a major sporting program was kicking into gear. Ian Maurice followed all the overnight action. Good afternoon, Bear.